Welcome to AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. Each month, we deliver informative health and wellness topics you want to know about, so make sure to subscribe to us on your preferred podcast platform. And if you have any questions about content discussed in this episode, ask them at AFSPA Live, our live Q&A session streaming every last Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/AFSPA Cares. Now here's your host, Chief Executive Officer Kyle Longton.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of AFSPA Talks. I'm Kyle Longton, and with me as always is...
Maddie Norton.
Maddie, it's nice to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's good to see you, Kyle. I
Thank
know that
you.
you've been on the road a lot in the last 2 months. Where have you
Yep.
been and what have you been doing?
So just a quick rundown. I was at a Hinge Health conference, and I also sit on an advisory board for them. So I was in Chicago for that in June. We had a member event. Not a ton of people showed up, but it was a great conversation in Denver, in early July, and that was alongside an event for the Federal Education Association members who were there. And then just last week, as we're recording this, so mid July, I was at the Department of Defense Dependent Schools reunion in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think there were more than 600 people actually at the reunion. I didn't see all of them, but I got to speak to about 100 of them about what's coming, FEHB plans in general, and ways to save on prescription drugs. Hint, Medicare Part D plans, or PDP as we call it for us. And then just yesterday, we're recording this on July 24th. Just yesterday, I got back from New York City where there was a Teladoc Advisory Board meeting and their executive forum this week. So I am sorry to you and to our listeners, this caused me to fall behind on our podcast, but we're making a comeback here in midsummer. And Manny, while I've been away, I think I might have missed some things happening in our broader outreach to members. What's been happening elsewhere? What's been going on with the blog and other places?
Yeah, so for the blog this month, we've talked about massages. If you weren't aware and you're a FSBP member, we have a great massage benefit. So you can learn all about that and then also the benefits of massages and how it's not just physical benefits, there's also some mental health benefits for it. We also have a safety tips for hot weather coming out since, at least in the DC area, we've been having lots of heat waves. So definitely check that out if you want to protect yourself and not have heat stroke or heat exhaustion, anything of that nature. And coming up on this Thursday, on July 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we will have ASPA Live, where we will dive even deeper into all of our ancillary insurance programs with our guest today, Miss Adrienne. And if you still want more from us, we do still have more. We have a lot of webinars offered from some of our partners. So on Wednesday, July 29th, we have a Maven Menopause and Midlife Overview webinar at 12 p.m. Definitely join that. You can register at aspa.org/events, and the registration, everything is there for that. And then on August 5th, we have a Maven all program overview webinar. So learn all about the different programs that they offer. That's free to members, so you can join that. And then on August 11th, at 3 separate times in the day, Prudential is offering a webinar about riding inflation waves. So if you too are shocked by your grocery bill every time you go, definitely sign up for that and see different ways that you can save money in the time that we are in.
Absolutely. And I think there's some fantastic topics in there. We've seen a lot of interest in our membership and the conferences I've been going to. Topics about perimenopause and menopause have been coming up quite a bit and different
Yep.
ways to address that, whether it's through movement, through hormone replacement therapy, through other means. Absolutely explore this with Maven, and they may be able to refer you to others. Providers, including Hinge Health. They have a women's pelvic floor program that can help at
Yep.
all stages of life. But also explore the broader programs that you talked about, Maddie, with the all program overview. And then, yes, the inflation wave, because I
Yep.
just as a preview, be prepared from what I understand from what we'll see with health insurance premiums going into 2027. We'll continue to see that because healthcare inflation is absolutely outpacing the broader economy once
Yep.
again. So, on that happy note,
Yeah.
you noted our guest today will also be our guest on AFSPA Live. And today, we're actually going to dive into some of the lesser known programs we offer within our ancillary insurance programs. And our guest to take us through that is our Senior Director of Ancillary Insurance Programs, Adrian Coleman Seabrooks. I have had the great fortune of working with Adrian since I started AFSPA. She is in her 20th year at AFSPA. She has a deep background in healthcare and insurance generally. And I'm delighted to have had this time with her. I will also note that she serves as the Deputy Director of the Senior Living Foundation, which many of you may be familiar with. She is a key to making sure that the foundation continues running on a daily basis and coordinating grants and overseeing donations and so forth. So I'm very fortunate to have her as a partner in that. I will note Adrian is a proud native of Philadelphia and a
Good words.
a uh, proud graduate of Spelman. So she brings a lot to the table. Anytime she's working with our members, working with colleagues, or offering outreach opportunities like this. So I won't delay any longer. Let's get to the interview.
Absolutely.
Adrian, welcome back to AFSPA Talks. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm back.
I think you definitely a returning champion. You may be one of our most frequent guests since we launched
Yep.
the podcast 5 years ago, and we are delighted to have you again. And we're back because you've joined us to talk about a lot of things over time, but we wanted to explore some of the lesser known programs offered to AFSPA members. Some of those that may be a little bit more hidden and certainly and not as frequently used, and no one knows those programs like you. So I want to just start off with noting that we are recording this on July 24th, so it is very much summer. And
Hmm.
a lot of people are transferring posts. They're coming back for some time off in between posts or even just getting kids to summer camp or something like that. So a lot of people are on the road. So let's start with travel insurance. Adrian, what is, when we're talking about the travel insurance that ASPA partners with others to offer, what is it and what does it cover?
Sure. And yes, this is a great time to talk about travel insurance as we try to get those last minute vacations in before Labor Day
Mhm.
and things pick up. And it can cover a plethora of things. I would say that all of the plans have some kind of medical or health benefits. So we have several plans, actually four plans that cover a wide range of travel protection benefits, but also medical benefits. If you are enrolled in a health plan, much like the Foreign Service Benefit Plan that provides global or international coverage, you don't really need the medical protection as much because you are covered overseas or outside of the United States. But even with global coverage, you do want to look at the medical evacuation benefit under your plan because, like the FSBP and most plans, it will only medevac you to the closest treatment facility. It won't necessarily medevac you back to your home city and state. So all of our plans provide that coverage. You also may consider travel insurance if you are traveling with partners that do not have global international coverage. So, if you're traveling with someone who may be enrolled in a Medicare plan, Medicare does not cover you overseas. So, this is when travel insurance is beneficial.
Yep.
Um, you typically will see coverage for um, things like baggage loss, trip interruption, trip cancellation, even baggage delay. But you may want a little more protection. You may want to have coverage for Again, medical evacuation, repatriation of remains. Um, they even have tribal advisories from the U.S. State Department, and a lot of other worthwhile services.
Gotcha. And so
That's
if I'm
available to you 24/7. I want to say that also.
very important. And so I know when I go to purchase plane tickets, they usually pop up with a thing that says like, "Hey, do you want to add like travel insurance to this, or do you want to protect your flight?" Is what AFSPA offers different than that?
I think what we offer is a little bit more comprehensive.
Mhm.
Most of those plans are basically going to cover you for, again, the trip cancellation, trip interruption, baggage loss and delay. But they don't necessarily cover you for, have health or medical coverage, repatriation of remains. There's even benefits for if you are injured or experience a serious illness while you're traveling, they will actually pay to bring a family member or a spouse and pay for their room and board so that they can be with you as you go through your recovery.
And Adrian, when it comes to time periods, so am I just buying, is the insurance offered just for one trip that I'm taking maybe for 1 or 2 weeks? Or if I know I got a busy year coming up and I'm going to be traveling a lot, can I buy a year-long policy that covers multiple trips or there are different options?
Excellent question. And we cover all lengths of trips. I will say that with our plans, what I can say is that we will cover up from 1 day up until I think the maximum trip length is 180 days.
Okay.
However, we do have a plan that is an annual plan, so it will cover multiple trips. So if you travel a lot on business,
Hmm.
that might be a good option for you.
Okay.
And you want to look at some limitations. There are always pre-existing clauses in most. So if you have a pre-existing illness, you want to definitely make sure that you focus on that benefit. But also there's some age limitations as well.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right. That's great to know about travel insurance and know it's a little bit more or a lot more than just the protecting your flight or things like that. I
And
know. Oh,
I'm sorry to interrupt you,
no.
but I'm glad you mentioned that because I think we think of travel insurance in terms of airfare,
Yeah.
going, but these plans will cover you no matter what type of transportation, but
Right.
also they will cover you in the U.S.
Hmm.
As long as you travel at least 100 miles away from home. So whether you're driving, taking a train, or flying, um,
Hmm.
travel insurance is worth looking into.
Absolutely. Good to know. And I know that there's been some ongoing hiring at certain agencies and new federal employees going overseas may have people accompanying them who are not eligible for coverage under their federal health insurance. We do have some options for them, but what are they?
We do. We have them covered. Members of household insurance. So that insurance is designed to cover a member of your household that may be residing with you while you're assigned overseas or outside their home country. And it provides adequate medical coverage. And there is a caveat. These insurances, and there's three plans, are not do not follow or do not meet the Affordable Care Act guidelines, the ACA guidelines. So they are not designed to replace health insurance for a U.S. citizen residing in the United States. They are designed to cover a U.S. citizen traveling outside their country or their home country, or an expatriate who is residing with a U.S. citizen in the United States. Um, these insurances provide adequate medical coverage while they're traveling. So if they are not covered, overseas, if they don't have international coverage,
Hmm.
this would be an option. The thing about members of household and how it differs from travel insurance is that they're expecting you to reside with um, your foreign service person at least I think 3 months.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned that these are not ACA compliant. So is it fair to assume that they're medically underwritten, so coverage could be denied?
Yes, it can
Okay.
be denied. Um, not normally it is not denied.
Yeah.
And I believe that most of the plans will cover you up to age 80. Some cover you 80 plus.
Hmm.
But for the most part, you just want to make sure that you understand the pre-existing.
That's a key piece for both the travel and the members of household because these are not like the ACA plans or your federal plans that there's going to be some limitations and there you may have a lot more out of pocket than you do with other health insurance.
That's
Um,
true.
and I think you've done a good job of emphasizing that the values that these plans offer, but I just want to encourage folks that please make sure that even if it's not you, but if you've got people visiting you or accompanying you overseas, please make sure they have coverage because they could run into a situation where they need medical care and credit cards have limits if you run into that and they expect to be paid off. So you want to you don't necessarily want to rely on that. Make sure you've got some coverage.
Coverage, exactly, Kyle. And I think I may have mentioned this on a prior podcast, but most countries now mandate that you have adequate health insurance before you even enter the country.
Hmm.
And it's just a matter of reaching out to your carrier and getting a written proof of coverage. But uh, you will definitely need to have some medical coverage before you travel
Yeah, and
in
Adrian, I'm
place.
glad you brought that up because we've run into this in several instances recently where people have been applying for residency permits outside the US. In a
Mhm.
lot of cases, even their federal health insurance doesn't meet the requirements because some of these countries run into this in the European Union, require that you have health insurance that pays 100% of medical costs, including prescription drugs, that will pay the local providers directly. So you may want to maintain your federal health insurance and have to look at something that's offered in that country if you're looking at residency permits. But once you're resident there, somebody comes to visit, make sure they've got travel insurance or members of households, something to cover them for sure. But definitely read the specifics for the policies and what's required by the countries you're visiting for sure.
Exactly.
All right. Adrian, I know not all of the programs that you manage are actually insurance. What else is available to AFSPA members?
We do have some what we call discount programs. So we have a discount program that covers routine, well, it covers most dental care, um, routine vision, and LASIX. It's a bundle, so it's kind
Mhm.
of like your internet. You can get a bundle. You pay one fee. It can be monthly, annual, or quarterly, and you have access to network dentists, network eye care, and LASIK surgery. We also offer some professional programs. So these are just courtesy services that we feel benefit our members. We have a long term care consultant, Consultants Inc. They're excellent. They can educate you on long term care insurance. They help you find a policy that meets your caregiving needs and affordability. We also have a legal service, professional service. We have three law firms that have worked with our members. They are familiar with, uh, they can assist you with services, legal services, both overseas and stateside,
Mhm.
nationally. Um, we have a tax. service. They can help you with taxes, especially as you maybe navigate your taxes while overseas, serving overseas. Many of our members, have rental properties while they're overseas. So there's real estate tax services as well. And we also have a retirement service. So if you're a federal employee looking to retire soon, um, please reach out. And this is a person that is familiar with federal benefits and just what you need to do to prepare for retirement.
That's right. Um, I had to correct somebody on Reddit earlier this week because they had the wrong information about health insurance and retirement. And I realized that's probably not the most reliable place to go for it. So we do have this great partnership with Retire Federal. And Adrian, we also have some financial and wealth management partnerships, both with Prudential and GIBA. I wonder if you could talk just a little bit about those.
Sure. So, I think that we want to look at our finances or our well-being from a holistic point of view, and financial wellness is part of that equation. And so we have two, as you mentioned, wealth management and financial wellness services that will work with you on investments, and just getting yourself in a good financial place um, for retirement or even prior to retirement. But you can meet with financial advisors. The consultations are cost free to our members. And I will say that both services offer very knowledgeable financial advice.
Absolutely. And I just want to note, because many people may be on the road this summer and looking for something to listen to while they're driving or flying, we've done podcasts with a lot of these partners in the past, with not so much the law firms or tax consulting, but on financial wellness, wealth management, long-term care planning, and the retirement planning, as well as the discount programs and more. So go back in our catalog. Listen to that. I do also want to note that AFSPA offers these partnerships, as Adrian said, for the benefit of our members. We do not receive any compensation from these partnerships for professional services. And we encourage you to do your research on them to make sure that they meet your needs before engaging in any relationships.
And most of them will give a 10% discount to our ASPA members, and the initial consultation is free of charge.
Good to know. All right. And I know we've kind of talked about the hidden programs that AIP offers today, but could you remind us of the more familiar insurance that ASPA offers?
Sure. So we offer four dental plans. One is a true international plan. It covers you at a higher uh, benefit for services rendered overseas. And they have a network of foreign dentists, over 100,000 throughout, outside of the US, I should say.
Mhm.
We also offer several life insurance policies. We have a term life, group enhanced life, term life policy that will cover you up to $600,000. And you can opt to cover your spouse, domestic partner, and children. And it's very affordable. I am happy to announce that we've been scheduled to have an open enrollment in September, where you can actually elect to enroll for $50,000 without any medical underwriting. We have accidental death and dismemberment that you can receive a benefit for, not just death as a result of an accident, but also loss. So, in the event that the accident is not fatal, and you maybe have some residual loss, paralysis, coma,
Yeah. Loss
uh,
of sight in one or both eyes, or
one or both,
hearing. Mhm.
you receive a benefit for that. And you can also elect to enroll your family or spouse. And we recently offered a senior life plan. We didn't want to leave anyone out. And so we have a plan that really is catered towards our senior community. It offers two benefit amounts. We realize that you may not need as much coverage as our children are maybe grown or our house is paid off, but it will help to supplement any current traditional life insurance policies that you have. And we also offer a critical illness plan. And this plan is designed to provide financial protection in the event that you were diagnosed with a critical illness, such as a heart attack, a stroke, a cancer, with the purpose being that you don't want to worry about finances when you're trying to recover. And it offers a lump sum benefit from $10,000 to $100,000. And once you were medically diagnosed, you don't even have to be in treatment. You will receive this payout. $10,000 is guaranteed issue. So you don't even have to answer any health questions for the $10,000 amount. But I think it's worthwhile. It's very affordable. And again, you can elect to cover your spouse. You can elect to cover your domestic partner and children.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, we are happy to be able to offer a disability plan. We had two disability plans, and for whatever reasons, our carrier no longer wanted to underwrite those plans. So Prudential came through. We have an excellent disability plan that offers income protection in the event that due to a serious injury, serious illness, you are not able to work for an extended period of time. The coverage is up to 100,000. The coverage is based on 60% of your salary, up to a maximum monthly benefit of $7,500 a month. So I encourage, when we think about our lifestyle, even if it's just for a single, for an individual or for our families, I think it provides peace of mind in the event that we do fall ill, and we want to just really focus on the recovery. We don't want to worry about how our bills are going to be paid, how the mortgage is going to be paid. So I encourage everyone to consider disability.
That's right. And we've seen great enrollment since we launched that program in May. So it take a look if that is something that is on your mind, especially if you're a younger employee and don't have a lot of leave. But even if you're a more tenured employee, you may want to consider it because it covers, and Adrian, correct me if I'm wrong, it covers not only complete disability, but could include partial disability or inability to return to your previous job, but maybe do something that at a lower level, part-time or a lower pay, and help meet that gap at least for a time.
It does.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Adrian, if people want to know more about this has been a great overview, but if they want to know more, they want to read those terms and conditions, explore the options, where should they go?
Well, they can always learn more on our website at afspa.org/AIP, or please feel free to call the AIP department at 202-833-4910. We have some very knowledgeable insurance specialists that will be happy to walk you through the plans.
Absolutely. Well, Adrian, thank you very much for this refresher, or maybe for some of our listeners, this introduction to the broader world of AFSPA beyond Foreign Service Benefit Plan and the traditional dental and life plans. I really appreciate your time and taking us through this.
I'm always happy to be here. Always happy to talk about AIP programs. And thank you. And you guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, Adrian.
You too.
Thanks again to Adrian Coleman Seabrooks for joining us. For more information about AFSPA and our ancillary insurance programs, please visit afspa.org/AIP. This has been AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. All information offered in this podcast is meant to be educational. The views expressed by the hosts and guests do not necessarily represent AFSPA. Should there be any discrepancy between information offered in this podcast and official plan documents for the Foreign Service Benefit Plan or other products offered by AFSPA and its partners, the policy provisions will prevail. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe to AFSPA Talks on your favorite podcast app to catch all of our future episodes. Please rate and review us on your favorite app, and stay up to date on all things AFSPA on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Look for AFSPA Cares. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of AFSPA Talks. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll never miss an episode. If you have any follow-up questions about the topics in this episode, join our AFSPA Live Q&A session on the last Thursday of every month. We will be streaming live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/AFSPA Cares. Thanks for listening.